activities. Okay. So first one, can I get Uzaini to come out to volunteer for an activity, and I need a female as well to balance it out. Any helpers?
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay. So, okay. I'll be adding, so if you see the bottles here, I will be adding multiple bottles to each individual. Okay? So let's start with you first. Yeah, I'll give you one. Yeah. Okay? So when I add, you need to think of a way how to make sure that you not drop on the floor, they don't fall on the floor. Okay? So maybe I will give you this one. Okay? With this. And do this. Okay? Okay. So now I'm gonna keep adding. Okay, Uzani, tell me, how do you feel if I were to keep adding more?
Wouldn't want like it.
Okay.
Like macam orang kita buat, dia buat tak dia buat.
So exactly, this is the point. So if let's say if I keep adding bottles to Mr. Uzani, what he's gonna feel is that, oh, why are you adding bottles? Why do you not give my partner? That's first. Secondly, you know, they are all bottles, they are all water inside, so it's equal, it's similar to our work. They are just work. However, you know, our colleague here, she can actually manage it better because it's just two water. She can just hold it like that. But for him, okay, from Mr. Uzani, look at his pocket, look at his arm, he's all over the place. And he can't make sure that he can hold it properly.
This is my real situation as well.
Okay, yeah, actually this is what we want to start off with. Burnout may happen when you do not manage tasks effectively, and at the same time, this will actually cause the morale of the employees to actually lower, because they will start to think that it's unfair. How come they get this? It's little. How come we get more? This kind of thing. So, thank you so much. Okay, so thank you again to the volunteers. Alright, so over here we have three expert speakers to talk about our topic today, beyond burnout. So there's firstly we have Moga here. He's a human resources strategist with a focus on culture and engagement. Okay. Then we have Sia, a clinical psychologist specializing in workplace mental health. And lastly we have Tan, a wellness program consultant. Okay. So good morning again, everyone. So welcome to our forum. Okay. So in today's fast-paced workplaces, burnout is more than just a buzzword. All right. So it's a real challenge that affects everyone. Every one of us here, probably at some point in time, you will feel burnout. However, I'm sure they'll announce that we have three experts here, to talk about how we can navigate this crucial topic. And without further ado, let's get ready for an insightful conversation and find out how important it is to prevent burnout in our workplace. Okay, let's start with Tan here. So in today's workplaces, especially in the modern society, all right, where you have your phone, you have your laptop, work is at fingertip anytime. So what are some of the deeper causes of burnout beyond just working long hours?
Thanks. Good morning, everyone. From my point of view, burnout often run much deeper than workload. For example, a lack of control over one's task or the sense of being undervalued, which can be the cause of it also. But in today's remote environment, digital overload becomes one of the significant causes of the burnout. For example, non-stop incoming WhatsApp messages, back-to-back Zoom meetings, and the expectation to respond quickly indirectly create a 24/7 workload mindset. This digital intrusion prevents employees from truly disconnecting and lead to what I call digital burnout. Without clear boundaries, employee tends to feel always on call.
That's very insightful, Tan. So I'm pretty sure many in our audience here may relate because including myself, I actually find it very hard to distract myself. Especially in our phones, we have apps like Teams, we have Google Meet, and WhatsApp. Especially WhatsApp, your boss may call you anytime and say that, oh, you know, it's weekend, I know, but you still have to work because there's a new case. All right. So in response to that, Sia, from a psychological perspective, what are some of the subtle signs of burnout that managers and colleagues should pay attention to?
Definitely. Okay, may I ask our audience, what are the signs of the burnout that we can notice in the workplace? MC. Yes, thanks for the answer. Okay. So some of these signs, like MC, like their productivity, we can notice in the workplace. So like this share some example that the burnout symptom that we often unnoticed, especially in the remote work settings. For example, some people might keep their camera off and less participate in the virtual meeting. So this one will show that the symptom that we unnoticed for the burnout symptoms. The next indicator of the burnout is the drop of work productivity. People might be able to complete their high volume of works, but the quality of work delivered is low or unsatisfied. Besides, you might also see some of the emotional signs that visible on the people expression, such as bad temper or doubtfulness. For example, employee might obviously express their frustration or doubtfulness when they feel that their workload is over. If a manager observes such changes happen in the work environment, they actually should address the issue and find out the cause and solution to assist the employees.
Absolutely. I agree with the points. So actually in today's workplaces, we have physical and we also have hybrid. For example, physically, last time, when we did not have hybrid workplaces, usually we can look at your employees' faces, expression. For example, she come in and then every day she say hello, good morning, but one day she just tak layan you lah. And that's one, okay, that's one. But for hybrid workplaces, let's say back at home, how do you see? How do you know whether your employees or your colleagues are doing well? So like what Sia mentioned here, first symptom is probably they do not turn on their camera, it's always off, and secondly, they do not really contribute. In a meeting, maybe they do not contribute much. Alright, so Loga, can you talk about how this burnout actually vary by different industries? For example, maybe healthcare compared to technology.
Okay, let's say we take healthcare and tech industry. In both of the industry is totally different. Whereas in healthcare industry, mostly people working in healthcare, they will be dealing with people, patient care, so they will be more towards like the impact on the high emotional labors and also the grueling hours. So depend on the patient they are working with, and then what type of person they are in their daily life they are looking with, and also they are working with, and so on. So this all is the one that is a factor that affecting the emotional level of healthcare people. But if you go to the in a tech industry, they will not be so much involved with people, but they are more towards like harsh working environments, and also like example for the Amazon, we have more stresses, we have we have a high load of projects and so on. So their stresses are based more on workloads and so on. But then for the healthcare, it's more towards people engagement and so on. So if let's say so for the preparedness, let's say you want to overcome all these kind of problems, maybe for the healthcare industries, we can look into the programs for enhance their mental states. Whereas for the tech industries, since they are working 24/7, they are people be involving in more stress and so on. You should give them a break or motivational some kind of thing for them to decompress their stress levels.
Yeah, great points. So from here we can tell that actually different industries have different root causes, and you need to actually tackle it differently. For example, in healthcare, there's no choice. You need to go maybe 24/7, or sometimes during surgery you can't. There's no way you can take a break. So for healthcare industry, probably you can do some. They need a lot of mental health programs where you can help them mentally. Whereas for tech because they do odd hours, so maybe you can do some built-in downtime to actually help the employees. Okay, so let's now look at some of the practical solutions. Since we know what are some of the causes of burnout. Okay, so flexible work arrangements are actually quite popular now. Okay, could you explain what types of flexibility can be the most effective?
Yeah, of course. Flexible work arrangement actually can go beyond by simply working from home. For example, some companies now offer call hours. Call hours is something like employees only need to be available during certain hours each day. Other than that, employees are given freedom to do what they do. Another example is compressed week. Compressed week is instead of working 5 days a week, employees work only 4 days, but work longer hours. I would like to give you another example. One client of mine implemented Flexible Friday. Flexible Friday is the day where employees are free from scheduled meetings or any task, and employees are allowed to focus on professional development and personal wellness on the day. So all these examples I mentioned is workable because they give employees more control over their time, rather than feeling trapped by a rigid schedule.
Well, I'm actually impressed by your 4-day work week and also the flexible Fridays. So before I move on, may I ask the audience here, do your companies have this kind of arrangement or any other flexible work arrangements? Sorry,
Longer
hybrid working, okay. Hybrid working, what else?
Longer lunchtime break.
Longer lunchtime break
On Friday.
on Fridays, okay. Any more from the back? Any other industries? I know there's also healthcare,
Flexible time.
flexible time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Time in, time out.
I mean time
It's
out.
not fulfill the 9 hours.
Okay, okay. Yeah, actually that's a very good point because in the morning, you want to skip the traffic jams. Sometimes traffic jams can also add into your stress level.
Yes.
And once you jam, in the morning maybe you can see some bad drivers and then it add into your mental stress, and then once you reach your workplace, you're done already because you practically work in the morning in your car.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
thank you for the responses. Okay, so Sia, so how can actually mental health support based on expertise go beyond this typical employee assistance programs like what Tan mentioned? Are there any other approaches that organizations can approach?
Definitely. In my opinion, I think that employee assistance program is a great start, but not the only solution. So in current work practices, some of the companies will offering the wellness benefits to focus on the employee's physical and also the mental health. Okay. May I ask our audience, do your company offer this kind of allowance?
8 hours.
8 offer the wellness allowance. The employees can use this allowance to attend the classes like yoga classes, English classes, or the meditation courses after work to reduce their stress. Okay, so moreover, some companies will have a dedicated wellness center within the workplace, and also staff with the in-house counselor to assist the employees on their mental health problems. Besides, some companies will invite some specialists or the outside trainer to hold the group workshop on the minors and also the designers training. All of these resources actually can create a proactive work environment.
Yeah, those are very interesting points. Yeah. Actually, just now I realized that most of the audience say that they do not have the allowance, which is fine because actually not many. I would say it's quite rare because not many companies will actually provide a specific allowance for this kind of well-being programs. However, I think what we can also do is maybe you can talk to your HR manager, which you can actually come up with the idea of maybe bring a trainer or bring someone from an external party to actually cultivate this kind of well-being culture. Okay. So just to share, actually for myself, my company, they do have an app. Okay, I'm not sure if the companies have it, but just an example. So this app is actually a well-being app where you can go to this app and actually talk about your, whatever problems you may have, and also whatever struggles that you have at work or personal life. So this is actually some of the things that companies nowadays are doing, okay, which is like what Sia said. I tried it myself personally because I was dealing with struggles, and I think it's quite a good place for just for people to listen, for someone to listen to you. Okay, Loga, recognition plays a big role in preventing burnout. So how can organizations make recognition more effective?
Okay, recognition is powerful because recognition is something that we use to boost employees' morale. But recognition is depends on individual preferences. Some they like public praise, so maybe it's depends on the person. Some maybe they like private acknowledgement. So these two different things. But for example, in Adobe, I think they use a spot awards kind of program. That means they will instantly recognize the employee. Let's say they have an outstanding performance, they will instantly recognize by giving a performance awards and so on. And also in Atlassian company, I think the one they use is thank you Thursdays kind of day, designated day for them, where on that day, a specific day, they will encourage their employees to recognize each another for their work and their contribution. So recognition is something that we need in the company, and it can be varied. It can be personal, or maybe it can be public praise. But the main thing is recognition is used to boost the employee morale and also feel the employee much appreciated working in this company.
Thanks for the points, Loga. I can't agree more. I have another question again to ask the audience. Okay, so I'm sure quite a few of you here are managers, or maybe some of you here aspire to be a manager. Can I ask a question? Let's say if you're a manager or you are already a manager, how do you plan to recognize your subordinates or your team members? Sorry, acknowledge? Acknowledge? Okay. By just verbally or? Verbally, okay. Can you give an example?
When they did something good, acknowledge them for either in a public or meeting with the other members. Acknowledge they have did something good.
Okay. Yeah, I actually like the point where you say in maybe in a team setting, where you actually acknowledge your team member, because this will actually set the tone for your team members, saying that okay, we actually like this kind of behavior, and we should actually cultivate this kind of relationship. This motivate each other. Any more from the audience?
Normally during a town hall meeting, we recognize these people. They do that record or good achievement, and
understand. So it's like McDonald's where you have the best employee
Yeah,
of the
that's it.
month, something like that. Yeah, that's a very good point. Yes. So that people feel motivated to go to work every day and they do their best. Alright. So to build on these strategies, let's discuss long-term changes. We do not want it to be just short-term, we want long-term. So Tan,
Yeah.
can you talk about workload management and how we can prevent burnout in the long term?
Sure. Work management is a crucial piece of the puzzle. So actually we can make use some software like Trello, Asana, or Monday.com. So all these tools are useful for visual task management. The tools allow employees and the managers to prioritize tasks and set realistic deadlines. The tools also about distributing workload fairly. In recent AI trend, some companies even use AI to monitor task load and flag high stress period in advance. So this allows managers to redistribute tasks or bring in temporary support before employees become overloaded. This practice to workload balancing gives employees manageable pace that does not lead to their burnout.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, I think Tan mentioned two management tools just now, the Trello and also the Asana. I'm not sure if any of you use it, but definitely we should not limit ourselves to just these management tools. But of course, if we have this, it's always good to actually utilize them. However, if you do not have such management tools, you can always take your notebook or just a physical notebook to jot down. You jot down what you need to do so that you can manage your task better, which can also help to prevent burnout. Okay. So to build, so if we could utilize just our normal note apps here, to jot down everything nicely, it can actually help save a lot of the stress and also you do not have to keep memorizing what you need. So Sia, what role does leadership play in setting the tone for a healthy work-life balance?
In my opinion, leadership is foundational. If leaders are constantly working after hours and not setting their own boundaries over the time, it will give a signal to employees that they should also do the same. And training leaders should try to value the importance of work-life balance and encourage the employees to follow it. So may I ask our audience, do you know why work-life balance is important to us? Huh? Yes.
Mental health.
Healthy life.
Yes. Actually, the importance of the work-life balance is to provide us a healthy and sustainable lifestyle. So, for example, managers should limit the after-hours communication, which do not discuss work-related matters after employee go back or when they are on leave. Additionally, leaders regularly check the workload and stress level faced by the employees can normalize the discussion around well-being and shows that the leader has a sense of empathy towards the employees.
I believe this is a hot topic because I realized that once this was brought up, there are a few discussions here and there which I can see. I think I actually, I relate to this as well. Previously during my workplace, there was also moments where my boss would go like, okay, although this is the weekend, it's off hour, but there's no choice. There's customer, we just need to lion them. Okay, so what I did was usually people would say that if it goes too much, then just quit. However, this is not always the viable solution, which I understand. Therefore, what I took was I actually tried to talk to the manager and I tried to tell him, for me personally, if you can organize your tasks well, there's no need for you to work, after working hours. And it's also the expectation setting that is important. The boss needs to know how to set boundaries with the customers and also let them know that my employees will only be back by working hours. So this is actually the time where you need to talk to your bosses to see how you can work things out. Alright, so let's go on to Loga. culture plays a big role in preventing burnout. However, creating this cultural change can be quite challenging. So how can organizations make cultural shift to support well-being?
Okay, cultural change is really challenging. I think we have read a lot of case studies, even for Zara or even in marginalized cases, for the leaders to change the culture of the company or the employee who are working in that company is very challenging. So for us to change, to come up with the change, you need to be consistent. So you need to have a consistent policy. You need to every time be consistent of that culture is being done or not. So for us to go to that level, so we should start from the leader until the top and down. So let's say a company is value the time off policy. Let's say an employee already go to work and then you should not ask them to come back to work and do the work company's work. So if let's say if the management itself are demanding that employee to come to work even you are in a time off, then you can't change the culture. So it should start from the management itself and then from the employee, alright? So at base camp, the company, I think they have this kind of culture where you work hard, then you go home. That means they want to avoid the excessive hours of employees working. So if let's say they already went to for their holiday, they already work hard for on their working hours, and then they go home and then they are spending their holidays. They should not go and disrupt their holidays, because when you disrupt, they can't really and full-heartedly be in the holidays, and also they will feel a bit guilt that even though I'm on holiday, but I still have some responsibilities in my company. So this happens in my own experience itself, because when you are in a production environment, you'll be having ad hoc situations. So even when you are in weekends, Saturdays, Sundays, you need to always need to be interact with your supervisors and so on, whether your production is going in flow or not. If it's not, then anything happen, you are answerable in the next day. So this is something that always, even in your holidays, you feel like some guilty feelings like I still had my responsibilities there, then I still had can't spend my days with my family. So you also can have a pulse service. Companies can do pulse service that they have to track that how much employees is doing their how many hours their employees is doing their work, and you need to keep track whether the amount of work they are doing is already being out of their boundary, or is it still in their boundary and so on. So this need to be keep tracking for you to know whether your employee is in the good fulfilling their their working hours. So maybe it's not going against more than their working hours is excessive, or not less than their working hours, right? So making this kind of wellness is part of organizational DNA. It should not be one-off initiatives. You do one day, then you're not doing anything. Not doing the other day is not the change, cultural change. You should be consistent. You should make it as your DNA for you to have to do a good cultural shift in your company.
Very insightful sharing for Loga. Yeah. Okay. So what Loga said actually reminds me of this drama. I'm not sure if any of you watch it. It's called Emily in Paris. So actually, there's one part in the show that says that in France, it's actually illegal to work during Saturday and Sunday. Although this is not really applicable to us here. However, this actually kind of reminds me that although we do not have the law of working illegally during weekends, but we can always try to uphold this culture where we put work during work time and also off work to actually recuperate ourselves. Okay, so based on three of our experts here, they have each mentioned the symptoms, the causes, and also some of the solutions that we may have for burnout. Okay, like for example, like Tan, he mentioned about how we can effectively use our management tools. We have Sia that talk about a lot of mental health, and also how we should actually work on making it sustainable, and also try to improve the mental health. Then we have Loga that talk about the culture of how we should uphold this kind of work-life balance, kind of culture. So the burning question here, based on everything that we have discussed, how many of you here are actually facing burnout? If you are, you may raise your hand. Okay. Okay, so actually, I see a few hands here. This is actually a very good forum for you to explore how you can change that, and also talk to your your managers, or try to maybe think of a way to improve or to eliminate, especially eliminate things that you do not need to add on to your stress. Okay, I think we are done with our discussion. For now, may I get a Q&A? Do you have any questions for us? Especially for those that raise your hand.
I have questions. You were mentioning just now, if you have burnout, the least you can do is talk to your manager. But what if the manager is not listening?
You can talk to me as a consultant. So I can guide you how to overcome your burnout.
Okay, at the end, thank you.
Okay.
Uh,
Yes, you want
Your company, I mean, for my company, if let's say your manager is not listening to you, we have a regular, like, in a year, we have 2 times you can directly talk to your director, one thing.
Director.
Yes, director of the company.
In my company, I don't like to face my director. So okay. But thank you for the.
No, I mean, this is the company's culture. Different of the company, because in my company you can directly face to face with the director. If you have any issues with the managers or your superiors, you can directly highlight to him. And also we have every year we have a survey. That means you can voluntarily do some surveys that directly go to the board of directors. That means regional directors.
Okay.
So if you have any issues, you can just they can share. We can share with them. That's how this company works. But I'm not sure on how.
Ada kerja kosong. Thank you for the suggestion. Thank you.
Just to add on one quick tip. So just now you mentioned that what if your boss doesn't listen? I think this is very common, because firstly you may be afraid to talk, and secondly the boss just doesn't listen. So first, I think what we need to know is why does the boss not listen? That's firstly. Does he have a reason? Is it because your case is not strong enough, or is it because you are not conveying your message? So that's firstly. Or secondly, you may also talk to your colleagues, your teammates under the same team, and ask them whether do they face the same issues, whether is it really the boss's issue. If it is, you can actually go to him again, try and ask why. I think that you are not really listening to me, and I actually also talk to my colleagues, and I feel that it's the same across the board. And we are actually trying to aim for the same goal, so let's work things out. So I think that's how we should do it.
Thank you for your insight.
Any more questions from the floor? One more question. Before we end. Yes.
You did mention the burnout happening in across industry, right? Healthcare, tech. So my question is, how the company within or in this sector or industry to ensure the burnout strategy, their burnout strategy can be remain effective, as the nature of work itself is evolved, like hybrid, full remote work.
Maybe let's say we talk about healthcare industries. Healthcare industries, they move towards 24/7. They have to always be taking care of patients and so on. So this kind of people, we know that we have what we call pattern changes. We have hybrid, we have remote working, but I think in healthcare we can't do that. So for them, I think they should tackle in a way that they should have rotational programs for them, and to what we call restructure back their workloads, how to reduce their workloads, and then with these rotational programs, and then they should not let that people work in the night shift all the day or all the year, or maybe in the day shift or all the year. They should find a way that how to they should work 24/7 is okay, fine, but they they need to do the rotational program rather than go for the remote, because for healthcare we can't go for remote. But if in the tech industry, yes, we can go for remote kind of patterns and so on. But for them to be always keep in touch with the keep in touch with to improve the motivation of the employee, I think they can
you're trying to think of ways how they can best motivate them.
how to
I think by shorter the work time a bit. Instead of typical 8 hours per day, maybe short 5 hours, 14 hours. Typical in the health
okay, sorry.
industry.
I got it. If let's say in a production environment, because previously when I work, we have let's say people working a shift. Let's say their working hours is 8 hours. They need to fulfill the 8 hours. But that 8 hours is depends on the personal preferences. How they want to fulfill the 8 hours. So if let's say maybe they can work, let's say they come to 9 o'clock, then they can go back and come again and work. So on that day they should fulfill the 9 hours, but not to say that they should be continuously 9 hours. Maybe they can provide some gym facilities or mental programs and so on. In between they can just join the program and then they can come back to work and so on. So this kind of work can give the gap in the break. If let's say they have a break in the working, so they can release the stress first, then they come back and then they can. So maybe this is the way they can do some programs.
Yeah, I think it's essentially what Lola is trying to say is that we need to have blocks, and maybe we can implement flexible working timing. However, you just need to fulfill your working days. Okay, yeah, I think that's it for our forum. Thank you so much, everyone.
So give me one takeaway from this forum. Please, anybody?
It's an interactive forum and actually very useful. Sebab macam mana kita guna sebab kita bawa balik.
Besides that, some other takeaways, please. Shahira, how about you?
Same because
Lesson learned from this forum.
we actually need to manage our burnout instead of simpan dia seorang burnout tu tak cerita dekat colleague, manager. At least we voice out our concerns so that we feel less burden.
Okay, thank you. I just want to bring your attention to the culture aspect this now. We mentioned about cultural and burnout. It's good that you try to highlight on the culture aspect and how does this affect burnout. That is one thing, but you might also want to highlight on the different types of culture, because organization culture is something else which can affect burnout, and we have also national culture which can also affect burnout. Okay, for instance, if we're talking about our Friday, you have flexible Friday, free Friday, flexible Friday. So our Friday here, national culture is we have a longer break because of the Friday prayer. Okay, so that is not a perk yang we are being given because of being given out, but that is our culture kan in Malaysia, because we want to observe the Friday prayer. So things like our distance. If you are in a country that is having a gap between your hierarchy, power distance, a higher power distance than Malaysia compared to those in US, which is lower in terms of the power distance, the hierarchy and the gap. So that would also determine the burnout level, kan? So that if every single thing has to follow the bureaucracy and everything else, to pun would also will burn out, kan? So you might also want to touch a bit on culture, which is already good, you have to touch the culture aspect, but maybe you want to go in deeper and also talk about how the different type of culture, organizational culture, the one that you mentioned, the one was organizational culture. How is the national culture affecting burnout? So that will be another window for you to explore. It's very interesting. When we talk about organizational culture, we can talk about step cultural dimension. Ada 5 basic, or if I don't say that, risk avoidance, power distance, individualistic, collectivism, masculinity, feminism. So these are all affecting organizational behavior. We take, for example, if you are in a male-dominated industry and you are the only female, is that going to stress you? Kan? So that is also another area of burnout that you can go and venture lah. So if you are in a female-dominated industry, you are the only male, are you okay? Okay. Okay, I have a question. What is the difference between stress and burnout? Stress, are they the same? Stress and burnout.
Stress can lead to burnout.
Stress can lead to burnout, or burnout can lead to stress. Okay, and then which one comes first? The stress or the burnout? Okay. So that is another something for you to go back and forth. It's very interesting, kan? Whether it's the stress first, then burnout, or burnout first, then stress.
Apa nanti detail saya ni terang. Nanti detail saya ni terang.
Dengan bukan-bukan ni ada skrip.